Hey, welcome back to Milton Daily Homes. Chuck here, and we got a list of 9 properties, and we're going to get to that in about 2 minutes. But what I want to show you is just some information about different markets, and we talk a lot about being in and out of the market, and I think it's very applicable to what we're going to talk about today. The fact is, when you look at a seller's market, there are more. When people say a seller's market, typically it's defined as a market where about 40 to 50% or more of the homes are selling per month. So in other words, if there were 100 homes on the market, more than 40 of them would sell in a 30-day period. Right now in Milton, we're hovering at around that number, so we're kind of just on the brink of balanced. And then a buyer's market is defined as when less than 20% of homes are selling in any given month. And for certain price ranges in Milton, that is the case. In the higher price ranges, Mississauga condos are going through a buyer's market right now. So it's good to define them because I think they're used a lot of different ways. The bottom line is when you look at a seller's market, here's the truth. There are homes that are in the market and there's homes that are out of the market. And actually in a seller's market, what we find is sometimes there's homes that you go, I can't believe they've sold for that. I mean, it's just you get surprised by the sales numbers because more homes are considered in the market, which means the price as it compares to the rest of the market is in line, and what we call when it's out of the market, it's above the price that the market's bearing, and the condition is poorer in the homes that are out of the market compared to the ones that are in. Makes sense. Now, when you look in a buyer's market, what we see is a contraction. So the number of homes in the market, they're really in great condition and they're priced a little bit below what the comparables are. It means a great deal or good value, or what we're seeing now is a lot of the move-in ready homes are the ones that are attracting a lot more attention. And then we have this whole big area in a buyer's market, which is probably 80% of the market, which is really out of the market. And there's also this sort of third level. So when you're actually listed, here's a good gauge for where you're at. So if you're out of the market, that means you're not getting showings, period. However that is, however it's perceived, that's just the way it is. Then there's no man's land where you're actually getting people through the door, but you're not getting offers. And so that can be a tricky territory as well. And then obviously the homes that are successful and again, priced below the competition and looking much better than the competition. Those are the ones that no matter what the market does, they're always in good shape. So that's just an interesting way to graphically display, really, when we talk about homes that are a little bit high or whatever else. Sometimes it's the condition, sometimes it's the price. It can sometimes be a function of marketing, and that's why we find sometimes that the bad photoed homes are actually not bad homes at all. When you go, they're actually better than how they appear in some of the marketing materials on the MLS. So anyways, Kavanaugh's the first one up. It's at 389. It's an Emery model. It's 1370 square feet. You've got the darker cabinets. It's carpet inside. We've seen similar homes list for less than this, so in my eyes, this one seems like it's a little bit out of the market on the high side. And remember what we talked about is between 360 and 420. Yesterday we talked about this. There's more than 100 listings, so you don't have that scarcity effect where if they were at 389 and they were a little bit high, that somebody might try and negotiate with them a little bit because there's no other options. They have lots of other options, so it's more likely that a home is going to sit around. Watson Terrace is a Wyndham corner. It's like 1850 square feet, 469. It has a finished basement. It's right on the corner of Watson and Clark, right around the corner from a park. You've got some hardwood floors, separate living rooms, so right in the front of the house where the turret is, and then you've got a dining room and then family and kitchen. And the part that I always laugh at, that's not a real flame. That is actually inserted in with Photoshop. And you can actually go to the virtual tour company's website and they'll show you how they do it. There's the kitchen. It can be a little hard to get 2 people in this kitchen. It can be a little bit small, but it is functional. There's lots of space. They've added some pantry. There's a gas burning range there on the stove, and then you've got a pretty good looking finished basement with some built-ins, and the yard is a little bit wider as well. So overall, I think there's a lot of things this one has going for it. The awnings actually are not cheap to buy. A bit of interlock in the back, a bit extra there. So all nice stuff. I think the price is right on. And Woodlawn is the next one at $479. Double car garage. Woodlawn does back onto Bronte Street, and I called it Bronte Road yesterday. It's Bronte Street, and so it's they're actually pretty big homes. They look really high when you see them on the street. Um, it's an interesting layout. I don't know if I've ever seen a layout like this anywhere. And so the kitchen, and they've opened this up a lot, but the kitchen remains in the center, and then you've got another area on this side, and you have another area on this side. So it almost splits the living areas off. And what they may have done is done a little breakfast. They could have customized this floor plan a little bit. It looks like there's a little bit of more openness happening with this one than we usually see. And there's the other side there with the fireplace. Huge master bedroom. All the rooms are pretty good size, and it faces the inside of the street. It looks like there's some cedars behind there. And overall, I think that this one is for what you're getting for a double car garage. I think they've priced it pretty well. It is more than 2,000 square feet. Dice weight is at 484.9, and so we're talking about a home that's around 1,900 square feet. And cleverly, they've actually made them appear as two different rooms. That room plus this room are actually one big open room, and then you've got a kitchen with, I don't know how well the backsplash splash matches with the countertop, but sometimes it can be hard deceiving angles there. That's the loft upstairs. This can normally be a 4-bedroom. They've done 3 bedrooms plus a loft, and yeah, you know, it's okay. The last one sold, I think, right in the high 470s, so they're right in the zone. White Drive is 489. Very interesting home because there are some upgrades that are in here. The kitchen actually has a lot of really nice features to it. It's a little rough inside though, so there's a lot of work that someone would need to do with this home, and it looks like there might be a little bit of a dust trail underneath that couch, but there's just things like there's some wall repair, the basement's in kind of rough shape, and all that kind of stuff. So if you can see past that, I think that even if you were to put 100,000 into this home and really turn it into something special, there are homes on White that, just like in the description, they actually nailed it really well in the description. Similar homes sell for about 600,000. They have to be careful how they describe that, because that can be considered almost a promise per se, but it's true. I mean, yeah, 550, 580, 600, they do sell for that if they're looking good. Gowling is 499. Really, it's a semi-detached on Gowling. It's 1,500 square feet with a finished basement. At 499, they do not stand a chance. I mean, they're I think the same model just sold over on a street around the corner, with the first digit being a 3. So when I say 100,000 over, I'm probably not that far off. Walsh Avenue is 587. It's a Scotswood, so it's like just under 2,400 square feet. Great floor plan. This big window here really shows up well on the inside, which is the combined living dining. One of my favorite floor plans. There's a little porthole up here that you see on the second floor bathroom, and great stuff. Hardwood floors. Don't have a lot of information. A little bit high on the price, possibly a little bit sort of brinky on the out of the market stuff. Sprout. You think about this one comparing to something like the one on Featherstone. 594. It's a little bit higher on the price, but it also looks a lot better than the Featherstone one. Nice looking kitchen, good solid home, clean, tidy. The finished basement is a competitive advantage over that one. I think they've done a good job with the research, and it seems like a pretty good deal. But the finished basement is the thing that's really pushing it up there. And we've got McGinnis, I think, is the last one. It's a Vanderwood model, stone and stucco elevation, just over 3,000 square feet. And it looks like it's a slight pie in the back. It goes out to 51 across the back. Impressive inside with the wainscoting. I don't know if that would be included in the sale price. So there's a formal living room. Actually, this would be considered the den on the main floor. Then there's a living dining. Then there's a kitchen with the family room. There's the kitchen. Again, nice finishes. Custom light fixtures upstairs. The pot lights in the corner. There's a nice long room right in the front of the house right here, which is what you saw with the window seat. I mean, these models, we've seen decent ones sell in the low 6s, like probably, in the last 6 months. There hasn't been a lot of these recently, but they've all kind of fallen. Even some really good ones have all fallen under 650 in the last, let's say, 365 days. They're going to have a real tough time. You look at something like the one on Winter Crescent. It's a couple hundred square feet smaller than this one, with a finished basement, and it's at like 650. So it's going to be a battle for these guys to get anything over 7. It's going to be very, very difficult. If I was looking at this being my homes, I would probably be looking at the first number starting with a 6. But you know, they can try whatever they want, and we always root for the people who really have done an outstanding job on their house. The formula that I always think of, basically you're getting sort of a high, like a 28 to 3,000 square foot home is hovering right around the 600,000 on a more basic level, and then you start adding upgrades from there. That's a quick little memory thing that we seem to be seeing right now is happening. So that's the list for today. If you have any questions or if you want to reach us, we're always there for you, and we'll see you tomorrow with more Milton Daily Homes.